ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections: the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, also known as the Gateway to the Magic. We have a very special guest on today. Joining us on the show is Mr. Michael Stanford. Michael, how are you doing?
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me. I am doing excellent today.
You might remember Michael. He was on a show with us entitled Park to Park Busing. I don't know if anybody remembers that when they were doing the behind-the-scenes drop-offs on the bus. And Michael, you were on for episode 382, and this was in December of 2016. It's been way too long.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't know it was that long ago.
I know, I didn't either. But Michael, you recently had a Disney experience that I thought we should share with all the listeners.
Yeah. So I'm a big Walt Disney World park guy.
Let me stop you because I want to hear your Disney story. Go into that first. I apologize.
So I'm a huge Disney park guy. I'm a full-time Iowan. I've been to Disney over 115 days of my life, and I'm a big Disney nut when it comes to Disney history. And my wife and I, we are annual pass holders, and we decided that we wanted to go for the reopening of Disney and for a Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, July 11th. And so we called Disney and we'd asked if we could use our annual passes to get in, and they said all the reservations were taken. And so we said, well, how else can we do this? And we started looking, and we got a one-night resort room at the Pop Century, and that allowed us to make a reservation for the Magic Kingdom. And so after we did that, we booked plane tickets and made all those necessary arrangements. I went to work early the next day, got off, drove to Minneapolis Airport, which is about 3 hours away from our home, and jumped on the plane. And before you knew it, we were at our hotel and at Disney.
Wow. That I love a quickly thrown trip like that.
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of just sitting around our dinner table at like 6:30 on Thursday night, and we're just like, well, how do we make this happen? How is it that we can do this? And the stars all aligned. The plane tickets were inexpensive. The hotel was a very value price hotel, the Pop Century, and everything just worked kind of all together. So we were so happy to have that opportunity.
And I liked how you were proactive in making sure you could find the reservations into the park. Because I don't think a lot of people know that, they have some set aside for annual pass holders, some set aside for, resort guests.
Yeah, the reservation system is something new and different to the community that you have to be aware of. I think Disney does a wonderful job of making that apparent on their website. It's kind of a bummer that in this case that we had to, even though we'd purchased annual passes, we also had to get a reservation at a hotel to make sure that we could enjoy the magic for the first day back.
Right. But you made it. Before we get into the Disney stuff too much, how was your airline experience? How'd you feel, and how'd that all work for you getting into Florida?
Oh, so really interesting. I've flown out of Minneapolis maybe 5 or 10 times, and usually the Minneapolis airport is pretty hustle and bustle. You'll stand in line for at least 15 or 20 minutes for your security screen and everything. And they have tons of shopping and eateries and foods and coffees and all that kind of thing. And it's usually pretty busy. This time when we walked in, we walked right up got right through security. We were through security within, a very short time, 3 or 4 minutes. And we walked to the other side, and most of the restaurants are closes. Most of the shops are closed that you could shop at. Most everything was closed. There was just a few restaurants to choose from. We had arrived a little early, so we just had to kind of sit at our gate and talk and reminisce. As far as, thinking about security, everybody was wearing masks. There was plenty of security around, but everybody was wearing masks and being proactive and being clean. And there was plenty of hand sanitizers and all those things. We really didn't have any fear of any bad things happening there.
Well, that's fantastic. Was your flight crowded, busy?
No. So my flight, they put 2 people to a row. There was never more than 2 people to a row, and then they also staggered people.
Okay.
So there was always, 1 seat open in front of someone behind or in front.
So once you got to the airport, how did you rent a car? How'd you Uber?
Oh, yeah. So we rented a car. I've driven a lot in Florida, so wasn't really a deal there. It is noteworthy to know that all the car rentals in MCO are in Terminal A. So if you're used to going to Terminal B or flying into Terminal B, there's no rental cars there. So you gotta go across to Terminal A.
Oh, that is very good to know.
But I did something that we'd never done before in renting a car, and that was I used one of the kiosks to check in. I didn't actually talk to a live person, and that worked really well too.
Oh, nice. So your first night, you get there, and once you left the airport, what was your first hotel you stayed at before you checked into your Disney hotel?
So our first hotel, we always stay at a hotel across from Old Town in Kissimmee and 192. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock by the time we got there. We basically dropped our bags on the floor and went to sleep until about 6 in the morning.
Right. Was 192 busy? Were there lots of cars there? How would you rate that?
No. 192 both nights, because we traveled down there our second night as well, just to look around. There's not that much going on there. It's not like it usually is. Before we started staying at Disney hotels, we spent a lot of time in 192 East Side, and especially the Old Town area, which is usually packed, and definitely have seen a decrease in travel and tourism there.
I know everyone's talking about the parks being empty, and we'll get to that, but it had to be kind of crazy to see 192 that way also.
Yeah, it's surreal.
Let's jump into the Disney part of the trip. How'd that all go for you? How'd you get to the parks? How'd that whole thing happen?
So so we woke up and got ready and went and found some breakfast, and then I'd read that they didn't want you in the parking line until exactly 8 o'clock. So we kind of timed it so we'd get right to the Magic Kingdom right at 8 o'clock, and that's exactly what we did. And we were in a line of people, but it didn't take very long. We were lucky enough to get parked right up front, and it went very quickly. Of course, all the cast members were wearing masks, and there was plenty of law enforcement and guidance and everything there. But the way they park now is they don't park one car in front of each other. They leave a parking spot between cars.
Okay.
So they park a front spot and then a back spot, and then they move one spot over and then do the same thing again. So, and of course, no trams were running that day, so we had to walk, but the walk was very short.
Oh, that's one of the benefits of getting there super early.
Yes.
Nice. Well played.
So when we walked up, the first thing you do is you go through temperature screening, but it's really simple. You just walk up to a person and one of their health screeners, and they take your temperature with a touchless thermometer, and on you go. And then bag check was super easy, probably easier than it's ever been. Both my wife and I remarked that this was probably the easiest it's ever been to get to the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, wow. But how'd you get to the Magic Kingdom? What was your mode of transport?
So we chose, there were three ways you could go, of course, ferry, monorail, or bus. We chose to do bus, which is a little less magical, of course. But there was a long line for the monorail and then a really long line for the ferry boats. So we hopped on a bus almost immediately. And this was a little different than normal Disney busing. You know, usually they try to cram as many people as they can in there. Mm-hmm. And in this case, they put a number on a seat, and we just happened to be number one. But there's 4 or 5 seats in this bus labeled number one. And then if you're on that circle for number one externally in the queue line, when it's your turn, they say, all right, group number one, go in. And then you have to sit in one. There was maybe 5 or 6 other groups in there, very comfortable, very spaced out, never had any worries there.
Now, were there lots of buses lined up? Did they have them so there were a lot of buses, you know, once yours pulled away, was there another one ready to pull up?
Yeah, it seemed like they were loading 2 or 3 at a time.
Oh,
so
nice.
Like 2 or 3 would come in and 2 and 3 would go out, but they were very expeditious about getting people moving.
Wow, so it sounds like you got to the Magic Kingdom right away then, compared to the bus or the ferry.
Yeah, from the time we got to the parking check-in until we stepped foot on Main Street, it was 35 minutes, I believe.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so you get off the bus, you're at the Magic Kingdom. How'd that go?
Yeah, so we, of course, walked in. You don't do the finger touch thing right now. They just scan your Magic Band or your ticket. And then you walk through the train station, and it was so magical. We walked through the train station, and there were all kinds of different Disney cast members cheering and saying, welcome home and welcome back and applauding us. Just a hero's welcome, an absolute hero's welcome. And it was almost hard not to tear up.
Right. Oh, that sounds even more surreal. That sounds fantastic.
It was all the way down Main Street, all the way to Casey's Corner. It was just so surreal. It was a once in a lifetime experience. And that's kind of one of the reasons that we wanted to go, is to be there for history.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many people were walking in with you? Was it like super crowded, or was it light coming in?
No, I much lighter than I ever remember walking in with people at Magic Kingdom. But certainly there wasn't that many people there. We had heard rumors that it was, you know, the numbers were 18 or 20% of maximum capacity. Well, it was probably really close there. Because there just wasn't that many people there.
Before we get into the queue lines and that kind of thing, how things were when you were there, what did you think of the castle when you first walked up in the new color scheme?
You know, I love the new color scheme of Cinderella's castle. They're almost done. When we were there, they had it kind of painted up that rose gold and the pink, as they call it at the top. They were still repainting stones, and if you took a close-up look, you could see that it's kind of paint by number. They had 4s, 5s, and 6s everywhere. But what a wonderful photo opportunity. And on this particular day, you could just walk up. There wasn't any stage shows going on. You could walk through Cinderella's castle, but it is beautiful. My very first trip when I was 16 years old was the 25th anniversary celebration at the Magic Kingdom. And of course they had made that into a big birthday cake. Mm-hmm. And this is quite different from that. But I personally enjoyed that birthday cake very much.
Right. Well, everyone knew it was temporary, so it was kind of, I kind of liked it as well. All right, you've seen the castle, fell in love with the castle again, all over again. You're starting your touring of the parks. How did you feel as far as the social distancing, what Disney did to make you safe? How did you feel about that after you were there? So
Disney did above and beyond a terrific job, I think, for the most part, in social distancing people. Our first ride we did was Peter Pan, and our second ride that we did was Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And, you know, these are rides that have very long queues in both of them, and they had marked out approximate 6 foot sections, and so as the person in front of you, the group in front of you progressed, then you progressed to the next one. And they were really thoughtful, because in some places where, the line would curve around, they would leave 12 feet on one and then 6 feet, so you'd never be crisscrossing each other in that part of the line.
Oh, so in the switchbacks, you were also 6. I'm sorry. During like switchbacks, you were still 6 feet away from those, and like on the other line.
Yeah, they mathematically they never allowed you to get close to another group. We saw, they had plenty of people cleaning handrails and cleaning all kinds of different things and spraying off rides. And sometimes there'd be a small delay in a ride where they'd go around and spray down each ride. You could tell that they were really being cautious.
Okay, was our hand sanitizer plentiful?
Yeah, every ride at the beginning and end, you could get hand sanitizer, and they always worked for us. I know some people were having problems with them, but they always worked for us, and it made you feel really comfortable and safe. And it also was kind of relieving for us, because we brought a small bottle of hand sanitizer. We hadn't brought a large one, and we didn't even need to use that.
Oh, wow. And you were wearing masks. How was your comfort level wearing the masks?
The masks were hot, but everybody was wearing them. I never personally saw anyone get yelled at for not wearing one, or to pull one up over their nose, or something like that. I saw children that were pretty young to have a mask wear a mask, but they were hot, and sometimes your sunglasses would fog up, and even if you were trying to wear them correctly, they'd still fog up. It's definitely a workout for someone if you have health issues related to breathing. I don't know that a hot day at Disney is the best thing for you.
Mm-hmm. How was the dining? Like, how'd you take care of your dining during the day?
So we did 2 mobile orders. We did the first mobile order at Cosmic Rays, and not too bad there. Your typical Cosmic Ray food. I always love watching Sunny Eclipse, so we definitely had to sit in there and eat, and you could, and it was nice because it was really warm outside and it was cooler in there. Mm-hmm. Chairs and tables had signs all over them saying you could not sit at certain tables. They were really they really practiced social distancing there. They did have the condiments bar that they usually do at Cosmic Rays.
Okay.
And of course Sunny Eclipse was playing, and that's always so wonderful. The only thing that we really had was we had ordered our food a little bit early, and then when we showed up kind of at the later end of the return time, we had kind of problems getting it. You had to show your phone order to a cast member that was outside of the restaurant, and then they would allow you inside. But they took care of it for us really quick, and they were really kind about it, so not a big deal there. Our second meal was at Pop Century. Pop Century dining area is open, but the restaurant kind of area was not open necessarily. You couldn't use resort mugs, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it was really good food there. Always love eating at the Pop.
So how much stuff did you get done at the Magic Kingdom that day? Did you get done more than you thought you would? Everything you wanted to get done?
So we did everything that was open. The only thing that wasn't open that we were kind of bummed about was the People Mover. We love to sit on the People Mover and relax.
Yeah.
And then we kind of waited till the end of the day. The 2 most popular rides, it seemed like that whole day that had the longest wait times throughout, was Pirates of the Caribbean and Splash Mountain. So we kind of put off Splash Mountain towards the end of the day. And we got to the top of Splash Mountain, and wouldn't you know it, there was a problem.
Oh, no.
And the ride broke down.
Oh.
And so we sat there for probably 15 or 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But it was cool because we got to take pictures and kind of look out and see things. And then they finally came and got us out, and we walked backstage, which was a wonderful experience. And they did give us I would just call it a fast pass, kind of a makeup fast pass that we could use on pretty much anything. So we just walked right over to Big Thunder Mountain and got on there, and boy, that's a wonderful ride.
That's a good ride.
Yeah. So, I've always thought that Big Thunder Mountain was a little bumpy, but with half as many people in it, it was just such a smooth ride. If you get an opportunity to go there during a low crowd time, during this time, you'll get a great ride on that roller coaster.
Oh, I've always loved the Big Thunder Mountain. Michael, sounds like you had a very productive trip. How was the, not the crowds, because you said the crowds were light, but what was the crowd makeup? Because I noticed I've seen some pictures of not a lot of strollers, or actually any strollers, around the carousel in Fantasyland.
Yeah, that was quite interesting for us. There wasn't a lot of people there that were traveling with mobility aids or ECVs. There wasn't your typical travel groups that you'd normally see during this time of year. There were children, but not a lot of children. It was mainly a lot of adults, probably mid-20s to mid-50s.
Okay.
So I think there were a ton of social media vloggers, YouTubers, and all that.
Oh, I'll bet.
I bet I'm in 5 or 6 different videos, people that are taking shots and stuff.
If anybody sees Michael, let us know.
There was, just a large makeup of adults there, and that was kind of interesting. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, I've seen some videos. Well, I don't know if I should say videos, but lots of posts from the social media types that were there, making sure you knew they were there.
Yeah, I saw Tim Tracker walking alone, and I'd never seen that before. Usually he's being picked up by somebody.
Oh, okay. Were there a lot of any like ECVs? Were you notice any of those?
No, there wasn't a lot of ECVs. There wasn't a lot of mobility aids of any sort.
Okay.
And not a lot of strollers. That's really eerie to walk through Fantasyland and not see any strollers around the carousel. But it was just a different day.
Oh, I wanted to ask, did you do any of the shopping along the Emporium there on Main Street? Like, how are those shops?
Yeah, so my wife loves to shop at all the Emporiums and the candy store and, all the different places. They have very much limited you into walking in one entrance and walking out the other. You couldn't go in and out the same doors. It did seem like there was quite a bit of people in a small area there. We kind of went at the end of the night, and in the time that we were there, it was getting near the park closing, which was 7 o'clock that night. It started raining. So I think a lot of people kind of took cover as well. But all your favorite treats and snacks are still there at the confectionery, and you can still get, the different coffees and all of that.
So, Michael, given everything you had to do, you had to, arrange your flights, get your park reservations, and how your park experience was. Would you recommend maybe if somebody was comfortable enough going to take, maybe this time to think about considering going to Disney?
Oh, absolutely. I think Disney keeps you very safe in many different ways. Crowd levels, to me, are exceptionally low, historically low. So if you wanted a vacation where there wasn't a lot of people and you could go from ride to ride, not have to worry about having your face buried in your cell phone trying to get Fast Pass after Fast Pass, this is absolutely the time to go. And there are some fantastic travel deals out there. Like I said, we booked the night before, and it was very, very inexpensive.
Wow. That's awesome. So if you're comfortable going, I've always said it depends on your comfort level and your risk level of going somewhere. This might be a good opportunity for crowd levels you might not see again for a while once everything, clears out.
It reminded me so much of when I first started going, way before there were Fast Passes. You looked at a board to see what the wait times were, and then you tried to get to that ride before too many other people looked at that board.
Right.
And the wait time went up. And that's the thing that's changed with the Fast Pass system. So it was a really nice throwback. So if you kind of want to relive your younger days in that respect, it was really good. We just used our cell phones to look at the wait times, and they were super accurate, and there wasn't much of a wait time. You just kind of walked around and, oh, the teacups are open. Let's do that. Oh, Small World's open. Let's do that.
Oh.
So really a wonderful time.
Oh, that's awesome. Michael, thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Always a pleasure, Tim.
Michael, if somebody has some questions or they want to reach out to you, where could they find you?
Yeah, so they could look me up. They could email me at stanfordm2@hotmail.com.
Are you on Looper Nation Live?
Yes, you could definitely look me up on and I'm always happy to meet with other loopers, other super loopers.
Well, Mike, you're going to send me a couple pictures of your vacation. Then after I post the show, I want you to throw up some extra bonus pictures. How about that?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Michael, once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody, I'm Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. If you have any additional questions on anything, reach out to myself or Michael. Be happy to answer them for you. You've been listening to ResortLoop.com. I should redo that, Michael, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep charging forward. So how do we wrap up the show?
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.